Good morning, 6:18 in the morning. There's lots of background noise, but I'm here up on the deck, and we are just approaching Panama. In fact, I've been up for about an hour watching this area. Of course, I've spent quite a lot of time here, but this is the port area and the city of Colón, and we are up on the Caribbean side. I say up, it's because we're actually north, and we're even ever so slightly north. Northeast, I guess, of Panama City, which is only about an hour and a quarter drive up on the main highway from here across. But the canal is down in front of us, down in the distance here. There's one of the bridges that go up over the canal. So you could arguably drive from North to South America here in its own particular way. But what I do want to show people is down in the distance here. There's mountains. They're not particularly high, and it's dense jungle. That is the Darien region of Panama here. And the Darien region is fascinating as well, for all sorts of reasons. I mean, it's a wild zone, and there is no road through it. That's why you cannot drive from here down to Colombia. So we're out on the Caribbean, and there's ships out the water out here, waiting for their turn to come through the canal. Now, really, I keep saying I'm on the Ruby Princess right now, and I will do a little bit of a talk about the ship one of these days as well. I don't think Caribbean cruising is particularly for me. Having a wonderful time, but I don't think this is my first choice in how to travel. But that said, to come into the canal is one of these incredible things. Hey, Sarah, good morning. But yeah, to come into the canal here. So it's a fascinating area. I mean, the sunrise is lovely. There is a gentleman giving a little commentary in the back. It's unfortunately, you're sort of surrounded by noise the whole time out on these ships, so I might head back down to my balcony a while, but it is pretty incredible. I can see one of the bridges up in the distance. Hey, good morning, Martine. So I've been up for quite a while. I kept getting up and I'm just looking out just to, as they say, to see what I could see. And the sunrise along here is pretty incredible. Now, I have driven along this road several times, actually. So I will, once we get into locks, apparently we're going into the new locks, so that will be interesting. And at first I was a little disappointed, but actually, our cabin is on this side of the ship, so if we're in the new locks, I should be able to see quite a lot as we come into it. So it's pretty amazing. The sunrise is just gorgeous. There is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, there's a great big frigate bird up in the sky up there. So lovely, lovely to see. And then, of course, typical signs of ports. Something like 5% of all trade on planet Earth goes through this canal. So the construction of it, hi John, the construction of it is, of course, a story to be told for a long, long time. Panama took the canal back over in 1999, if I'm correct in the date, and then they've expanded it. But they are having a real problem this year because of this dry El Nino season. There's not enough water. It all works on a hydraulics, and so yeah, it is lovely to see sunrise, isn't it? But the water that flows into it is not recycled. That's not a bad thing. It just goes back into the ecosystem, the jungle out here. But when there's not enough rain, they just don't have the water to pump up and down. So I know a lot of ships have been sitting waiting. Now, out here, do you see all these ships that are just sitting out here in harbor? These are probably here being serviced by the second most dangerous job in the world per capita. So the most dangerous job you could possibly have per capita at risk of death is actually being an astronaut, because of the death rate. The second most dangerous job is an underseas welding. And of course, a lot of ships need work as they come through here. And so that's a big job. It's a very well-paid job. People who work for the canal are well-paid as well. It represents, I'm glad you're here. So there's a big tug down there. Pretty remarkable. The city of Colón over here is sort of famously quite an unsafe city, they say. It has a free trade zone there, and an interesting. I've explored a bunch of this region. They have a large population from the Middle East, large Muslim population that live in a particular area. They're over here because of trade, of course, and they have a Korean presence, another major trading country. and then this whole free trade thing. I'm hoping to get off. So what the ship is doing today is it's going down. It's a partial transit. So we're coming in through these locks into Lake Gatun. The lake was created when the canal was created, up in the middle, and then turning around and coming back out. So we're coming back to the Caribbean. We're not going right over to the Pacific. So I won't be getting to massive Panama City today. But say if I got off the ship here and got on a car in about an hour and a quarter, I'd be right over into Panama City. I mean, that's how close it is. That's the isthmus. And this is why, from even the very earliest days of, of colonization in the Americas, everyone knew this would be the transit point. Everyone knew this is where people would be coming across between the two oceans. And so when Lesseps tried to build the canal back in the 1860s, they literally just tried to blast their way through. And that was unsuccessful because it's all volcanic rock. Although, excuse me, Panama is very stable. It doesn't have earthquakes. Some people might know that the Chinese have a concession now to build one through the lake in Nicaragua, that massive lake. Lots of environmental concerns about that because there's endemic species and so forth, and it is an earthquake zone out there, so that does change the game. But yeah, this is very much a port. So I'm really looking. It's funny. Have a look at that. Actually, let me just take you over. You can see the ship out here. For those who are interested. Sorry, there's a lot of noise coming. That gentleman's just going on right now. The Panamax ships. But we'll come and show you the other side. Hopefully the reception is still holding. I will stream on and off today. Sorry, terribly noisy. Here on the Atlantic side, and the other ones in the Pacific. All right. So when you look out in the distance here, those buildings in the distance are also fascinating. Ones I don't know how well they're coming up on the screen. So I'm looking over to the, I could say the North American side, but there's some nice buildings down there. Those are all the style of buildings that the Americans had built when this was the zone, right? And people who lived here were called Zonians. That's now kind of a yacht club. So people who are sailing around the world or waiting to sail through the canal go up to quite fancy little shops and everything in that area. And that's where they can go and hang out. But look how suddenly wild it gets down on the side out here. So it's very green and wild, and then you're going to see one of the big bridges way, way, way in the distance out there. So I tell you what, everyone, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I will stream a few of these, so feel free to share these around. Hijack the loudspeaker. Do you know, Martine, it's a little frustrating, some of the information they're giving, but look at the sunrise behind me. So I'm going to head down. I'm having a morning cappuccino, you see. So I'm going to get an iced coffee for my little boy and take it downstairs. And I'll head out and probably sit on my deck for a little bit. And I will, good morning, Richard. So I will stream again. I'll try and see when we get going in under the bridge. And I'll see about posting something. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Look at that sunrise behind me. Welcome to the Panama Canal. I won't be able to stay on my deck the whole time because I think I'll have the sun right in and it's going to be hot. But nice clear day. I had a dream last night that it was going to be cloudy and rainy, and it isn't. So that's good news. So welcome to Panama, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you all, and I will talk to you in a little while.